Hey everyone, I just released my brand new 2025 Christmas coloring ornaments, and I really want to color one with you today. This is my Christmas turtle ornament, and it's probably my favorite this year because I love turtles. They're one of my favorite animals. They've been one of my favorite animals for a really long time. I don't know why it took me this long to create this design. Now, these are coloring design. I am a fabric designer and I make artwork that you can color, but not in books. I make artwork you can color in fabric. So, what the heck do you color with? Let me show you. If you've been following my business for a while, you know I actually have my own brand of fabric markers. So today we're going to be using these two boxes of fabric markers. This is both boxes of my permanent fabric markers. This is a full rainbow. This box has your classic like reds and greens for Christmas colors. These ones have more like tropical pastel colors. But then I want to do something a little extra for these Christmas ornaments. I went and got Puffy fabric paint. So what I want to do is I want to lay down color with the marker first, and then when we're done, I want to go in and add some details with the Puffy fabric paint. Because as you can see, there's a lot of details from the Christmas tree to the star, the little tiny fish, the bubbles. That's a lot of little detail. Here's the thing. If you've never colored fabric before, coloring fabric is a little bit different than coloring paper because it's literally not paper. I do want you to keep that in mind if you're going to color any of my coloring products, or you're going to like even make a t-shirt design or something using fabric markers. It's a little bit different, but it's still fun and you can do a ton of creative things much like you can on paper. You just have to remember that you're working in a different medium. So let's get started and we'll talk about it as we go. I'm really going to focus on coloring just this one side of the ornament today. All of my coloring ornaments are double-sided, but honestly, my carpal tunnel is kind of acting up today, and I think if I make it all the way through this one, it's going to be a miracle. But also, don't forget, I want to add some puffy paint, and the only way I'm going to be able to get this to dry on this video and not have this take 5 years is if we do one side. So I just want to show you what it looks like to actually focus on one, and some of the things that you can do with fabric markers to just make things look really pretty. I hope if you are coloring some of my coloring stuff that you're, sitting in front of your TV, chilling with your friends, I don't know, drinking hot chocolate. I know it's August, and just having fun while you do it. So first of all, fabric marker wise, the markers you're going to see me use, these are actually my own brand of permanent fabric marker. And yes, I am opening up brand new boxes for this. Do you need to use my brand of fabric marker to be able to, color on fabric? Absolutely not. But I will say my markers are really good. They are double-sided, so you've got a pointy tip, you've got a broad tip, so you've got a lot you're working with there. You can do small details because we've got a lot of small details, but you can cover larger spaces too with the other end. You want both of those things in a fabric marker. I also grabbed a scratch paper so that if we want to play with colors before we put them on the ornament, we can do that, because once they're on here, it's permanent. Once they're on here, we can recycle it, and that's good for the environment. I will open the second box of markers in a little bit, but I want to get started with just this one because I feel like I normally recommend people use this black box of markers when they're coloring my ornaments, and that is because they have the Christmas colors in them. I gotta say, the one thing I do lament about when I got my fabric markers made, the box itself always prints really dark when it comes to the preview images, so the colors do look a little bit lighter when they go to fabric. I've got a turtle shell, which I guess I could keep totally green. I've got a Christmas tree, which I want the tree itself to be green. And then I've got fish, and I really want them to be, I don't know, bright colors, and I want the background to be a light blue. So we could get started with the background with the light blue, but I don't think I want to do this first. I actually think I want to open this box first, and I want to compare our greens in here because there's like a teal green and then a normal bright green, and then I've got the darker and lighter green in this box. And I feel like between the turtle and the tree, I want some contrast, but I do want it to look like a sea turtle, so I might use some more yellows and oranges for the sea turtles. We'll see. And no, I'm not using a reference image for this, as much as it would probably make sense, because I don't know, I'm stubborn like that. So anyway, box 2 of markers. I do think doing a little bit like more browns and golds is going to do me well with a turtle, and then the bright tree I think will stand out a little bit more. So let's pick ourselves a Christmas green to start with for the tree, and we might add a little bit of shading to the tree, but these are my green options. See, this is the really dark green. That green here I think we want to use for shading. I don't think we want to use that for the tree itself. Oh my gosh, did I pick the world's weirdest box of markers today? I really did. Literally, y'all, if you ever have trouble with your markers, please let me know. Oh, I like that color. That's really pretty. That's really pretty. Let me go open another box of markers for these because those are not coming out right, and that honestly kind of upsets me. Okay, now that one's coming out right. That's still too dark for what we need here. We're gonna open another box, guys. I did some troubleshooting off screen. Turns out I stored this box wrong. That's what the green one looks like. That is what the light green looks like. I do think this is gonna be our Christmas tree green. And when you are storing your boxes of markers, store them flat. Don't store them upright because then the ink only goes to one direction, which is how you end up with a blotchy mess like this. Nobody needs them, so I'm gonna go move my box of markers sideways. They should be fine again later. Here we are. We're gonna start with this for our Christmas green. Now, the one trick I do want you guys to remember is when you are coloring fabric, you need to leave time for things to dry. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna go in and I'm going to color just the Christmas tree, but I'm not gonna color the ornaments yet. I might not color those till later, or I might save Puffy paint for the ornaments because you have to wait for them to dry. Coloring over the lines will make the lines a little bit darker, which honestly I kind of like. So we're gonna just get this started. I like this part. I wish my hands didn't hurt so often. This is kind of like confession time behind the scenes of running a business. I hand sew all of these ornaments. Like the outside is machine stitch, but the bottoms are always hand stitched. There's not really another way to do them. And over the years, I have just managed to give myself some really delightful carpal tunnel. So I'm not gonna lie, as much as I like sitting here coloring stuff, it kind of hurts. And by hurts, I don't mean like it's a pain. If you have carpal tunnel, you understand. It's like a numb pain. And it just doesn't feel good, and it makes it a little bit more difficult to A, hold a pen, but B, it's not as fun to color when your entire hand just feels numb. It's just not a fun feeling. Okay, so we're going through little by little. We're gonna get this done. I don't know what color I want to make the ornaments though. Part of me wants to do those with just Puffy paint. Also, it is so hard coloring on camera. As silly as it sounds, with stuff like this, I really want to curl up on my couch and color, but I can't show you guys what I'm doing if I'm curled up on my couch coloring. I can only, just show myself that way. If you are also coloring this, I hope you are doing it the comfortable way that brings you joy, because I am suffering through for you. I'm gonna let this dry afterwards though, and I have some ideas. I do think I want to make the turtle itself though, like a brownish yellowish orange. The cool thing about sea turtles is they do have really interesting shells, and they don't all come in the same color. Like I think only cartoon turtles are really green. Real turtles tend to come in a variety of greens and browns, and we're gonna roll with that today because I made sea turtle ornament for sea turtle lovers, not for cartoon lovers. So there's our tree and our little ornaments. We are gonna let this dry. Like it's not gonna come, well, it might come off a little touch if you don't let it dry. It's a little wet right now. That's the one thing that I think people don't like to slow down when they do stuff like this. You need to slow down and let the next thing that you're about to touch dry, because that's how you get bleeding. So the next thing I think I'm gonna do might be these little fish around the side, and the reason why is because they're not at all connected to the big Christmas tree or the turtle. Like I want to let that area dry. Now I remember these fish when I was looking them up, they're bright yellow, so I'm just gonna make them bright yellow because honestly that sounds super fun. So we're gonna add this lovely yellow. It should work fine. Yeah, that one works fine. Tested it. We're gonna go in like this. We're just gonna color some fish. This is also the other reason I really like having double-sided markers. I could have had single-sided markers, but then I would have had to choose between broad tips and fine tips with the markers, and I just wanted both. I wanted the best of both worlds when I had these made. As much as I would love for you to buy my fabric marker brand, like I love these markers. Obviously, like they don't bleed a ton as you're seeing because I can actually stay in the lines. Not every fabric marker is made equally, and I learned that lesson really well when I first had my own brand of fabric markers made. I have had more people and they don't want to buy a marker for this, so they come up with the strangest things to try to color. And the thing is, like, you have to remember that coloring on fabric is kind of like coloring on canvas. There's a reason that people don't use things like colored pencils on canvas, And it's because they just don't work very well. Like, canvas is not the proper thing to color with markers with. So it's kind of the same with fabric. You really have to like pay attention to like what is actually going to come off. I have a review if you go through my Etsy shop from like a long time ago. Someone actually colored one of my ornaments with colored pencils, and the review states that it didn't work very well, which at that point in time, and honestly still, I was like, well, no duh, it didn't work very well. You were coloring with colored pen. Like, why did you think that was going to work? But she made it happen. I've always found that fascinating. I'm pretty sure there's a photo attached to it. She made it happen. Well, like, that's not the appropriate tool for the thing that you're doing. Why are you using it? I don't know. Some people are too stubborn for their own good. All right, so we've got some little fish. I think these next fish are going to be, I feel like they were blue and yellow. You know what? I can make them blue and yellow. I can make my own decisions. Now, the thing is, I want to use light blue for the water. So I'm not going to use light blue now, but then I've got two options for a darker blue. I've got this one from the black box, and I've got this one from the white box. So let's make a decision here and maybe put it next to this so I kind of know what's gonna happen. So we've got, that's our light blue, because I need enough of a contrast between these colors. See, and I don't think that one's gonna be enough of a contrast personally. Let's see what this one looks like. Let's see, yeah, I think that's gonna be my bigger contrast. Yeah, that is. Worst case, I can make it darker with some purple, but this one is going to be my higher contrast, so that's going to be the one we use. So I'm going to color these little baby fish here, and again, I'm going to use the fine tip side. I am not going to color the bubbles. The bubbles are the one thing on here that I know what I want to do with, and the thing that I want to do with is use silver glitter puffy paint. It's puffy, right? It says it's 3D. I don't know that that necessarily means puffy, but we're just going to roll with it and hope it does. So we're coloring my little fishes. Can I leave the bottom? I can. I'm going to leave the bottom of them. I don't really know that you're going to be able to see that little detail if I make it yellow down there, but we're going to try because I'm curious. If I let it dry long enough, you probably can, but we will find out. I know there's a very fine line between coloring the ornament and knocking the camera with my marker. I almost feel like this one isn't worth leaving the extra little space there, but it's fine. We've committed to the bit, y'all. We've committed to the bit. Okay, we're going on this one. I know, I'm so nervous. I'm like coloring for the people. I show you guys my artwork all the time. It's so funny to me that the thing that's currently making me nervous is coloring my artwork, not even just showing it to you. I don't know why. Like, why has my brain suddenly decided that this coloring part is the high pressure part? Designing it, oh, that's nothing. The coloring, that's the high pressure thing. This is the thing you should be nervous about. That makes absolutely no sense. Going like this. No, okay, we're good. I'll let that dry for a little bit. That one did bleed a little bit. That's okay. Oversaturated. Again, if you're coloring on fabric, don't oversaturate. Also, if you have decided to use a Sharpie to color these, that's totally fine. Keep in mind, those will bleed a lot more than a fabric marker will. There's a big difference between Sharpie and fabric marker. I don't know why. I think it's because one is an all-purpose dye and one is just specifically a fabric dye. I have no idea though. I don't really understand the technicalities between it, but we've tried Sharpie before. They work great. Just keep in mind they bleed a little bit. So like a crazy person, I decided I wanted to do a little bit of research before coloring the turtle itself, and I've made some decisions. Cool thing about sea turtle shells is they're just they're not a solid color. So this one's like a, what is it called? Melon? Yeah, melon yellow. So it's a little bit of an orangey yellow. Then I do have an orange, and I think, right? You see how like they kind of go together? Also, I have things like this like coppery brown. So I think I'm gonna start with a base of melon on all of these and let them dry. We'll see what happens next. I'm gonna stick to the fine tip side though. These ornaments are, well, this one specifically is very, you know what? I wanna do the whole thing, so the in between the shells, yeah. For anybody that's like, wow, this girl is not decisive. No, she's very decisive. She just gets really excited when she thinks of new things. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Because then that melon will still be in the cracks between. But remember, we're not keeping this like it's a color that we're putting down. It's going to be the base. It's not going to be the full turtle shell. It's not going to be this color. We're going to use some other colors. Because I do think, the thing about Christmas is it's Christmas decorations, they're bold. You're not like, oh, I wonder if that's a Christmas decoration. If you can't tell it's a Christmas decoration, is it really a very good Christmas decoration? You know what I mean? Oh, I missed a part. And in case anybody's like, oh, I missed a detail when I was coloring your stuff. It's cool. I just missed a detail too. It's totally cool. Let me go back in with the fine tip side and there you go. While the melon color dries, I want to see something really quick because we've got, right, this like, it's like a coppery brown and it's a nice like neutral color, but I also have a few other random things. What happens when I go like that? This is my peachy pink. It's like people colored. What about this one though? I think this is more of a green. Oh no. You know what? No, that's my color. I think these two are my color. Okay. I want the outside of the turtle to be kind of a more natural brown and then the shell to really pop. That's, I think, what I want here. We also have, I've got options here. I also have a normal brown that we can layer on there. But I feel like using that yellow as the base for like the head and then coming back with the details is my best bet here. I think so. I think that's what I want to do. Okay, well, that's what we're going to do. When you color your ornament, your opinion matters. When I color my ornament, my opinion matters. Yep, true story. Okay, so we're gonna put this down here. I also like the yellow because I do feel like it goes kind of better with that melon yellow. Well, I guess the melon is not a yellow. It's technically an orange, but it's also not an orange all at the same time. I don't know. What is this, color theory? I'm so excited to get to the puffy paint. I know, I haven't done this in a hot second. My friend a few years ago did the puffy paint thing to her lunchbox after coloring it with markers, and it turned out really cool and I loved it. I've always wanted to recreate. All right, so we've got that. Honestly, this feels dry. So what did I want to do there? This is my bright orange. This is that neutrally brown, and I'm gonna do some things, and it's either gonna work or it's not gonna work. I don't know. I'm hoping it looks like a fancy Christmas tree skirt though when I'm done though. That's my goal. I want it to look like a fancy Christmas tree skirt. See, now we've got a little texture. Can even go in here. See how that's kind of added a little bit of shading to it? Yeah, that's what we want. Now, the thing you gotta remember, and I've said it like 5 times before, and even I forget sometimes, you see how nicely that's blending right now? That's because it's wet. Silly as it sounds, as much as I'm sure somebody's gonna be like, well, duh, it's wet. So, I think it'll add a little bit more pop. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, I like that. It's wet though. I do want to make sure that dries. Like before I go to this trim right here especially, I think I know what I want to do with the trim, but again, I gotta wait for it to dry. Now I'm gonna go in with that lighter brown and yeah, it should be dry. I'm gonna do some shading, but I'm not necessarily just filling in the holes. I'm trying to create a little bit of texture. I do think the line work, like my goal with the line work is always to create some texture, but you can also, I mean, there's no reason you can't go in and create your own texture when you're doing this, especially if you're layering colors. Again, you're allowed to play with this. Any coloring, anything, the lines are there, yeah, to give you guidelines to color in, but that's what they are. They're like pirate rules. They're more of guidelines. The goal with any sort of project like this, whether it's a coloring project or paint by number or whatever, it's to give you guidelines to express yourself. Please express yourself. Now I'm going in with this darker brown. I am not coloring. Call it like pointillism or something. I'm just dotting because I want that wet because remember how I said it's still wet? I just want the wet fabric to kind of smoosh some of that brown color around to create some texture, all right? We don't want it solid. We want to create texture. Actually, that looks pretty cool. I'm really liking that so far. Should I go in for the star and do yellow or gold? I do think, okay. I have like straight up gold puffy paint, but I think I want a base. So let's do a yellow base since we know we're gonna go back in with gold later. We're gonna do a yellow base. Pretty good. Okay. Oh, I did want to go do that little line under the fish. Okay, so this is either going to make this yellow or it's going to pick enough pigment up from the blue that it's going to make it green. Either way, I think I'm happy with it. Just, again, we've talked about how coloring fabric is different than paper. Keep in mind that you're re-wetting fabric. It's not just paper will do the same. You can still have markers bleed on paper. I do find with markers, you do want to kind of just, part of me is like, don't say get over it, but like you kind of have to get over it a little bit. Just, it's not going to be the same. Oh, just forgot to color a fish. I need to fix that little guy. Poor little guy. Fixing my little blue friend. It's fine. I gave it a few seconds in between. Again, you can't go directly, but a few seconds in between, I was fine. All right, now what do I want to do with this trim? Do I want to go like melon orange? I just went and looked at photos of sea turtles thinking that would help me make my decision. It did. I should have colored the whole darn thing orange to begin with. It's cool. We're doing that now. It's totally cool. It's totally cool. We're having fun here. I'm having fun. Are you having fun? Yeah, we're having fun. Oh, who said that? I'm gonna go back in again on this orange because it could be a little darker. Yeah, that is a little darker. Okay. You can layer colors with good markers. You can layer them. So the reason I'm doing that line on the bottom is because shells have texture and they kind of bubble. So I want you to see that three-dimensional way they bubble. Now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm gonna let that dry for a second and then I'm gonna do the orange down there. I just let it dry for a second. We're gonna go in and color these little pieces in. This was the right choice. I wanna give it dimension. I don't want it to be the focus. I want the turtle to be the focus, but I want the turtle to have a tree on its back. Like I don't want you to forget that because the turtle shell is so fancy. Now what color do I want the ornaments to be? I think I'm gonna just make them red because I think then I can go back over with the red puffy paint and that will be fun. I'm gonna color those red just so there's a base layer there. And then by the time I've let all that dry, I should be able to go in and do the light blue around. Red marker, let's do this. Some of this is only gonna be a dot. Oh, I'm so excited to puffy paint. I've said that like 50 times. I'm no less excited right now. Sometimes I color samples of my ornaments for the tree. Like I have my craft show booth, right? And when I sell these in my craft show booth, I put them on the tree. I have learned if you put too many samples up, there's like a whole subset of people that doesn't understand what a sample is, and they try to buy the colored ornaments off of the tree because they don't want to color themselves, which as many times as you explain to them like, hey, that's the entire point of my project is that you color it themselves. They don't care. This is not a project that they think is fun. To each their own. I am going to go in next with the light blue and I'm going to go all around the turtle. I am going to like outline the turtle first though. Probably going to speed this up in the video. The other thing I will say when you're doing stuff like this, if you're like, oh, I don't want to color it, you don't have to color. Like I've done dots before and you can build up dots. You can do streaks and make it really sketchy. Never feel like you just have to color, okay? Any technique that you can use on paper, generally speaking, you can also use on fabric. There are gonna be some things that are done easier on paper, but most things are gonna work about the same. There's no fabric marker in existence that you're not gonna get a little bit of bleed. So please, 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 you find something you like and then you're like, oh, it bleeds a little bit. I should swap to something new. I mean, you can swap to something new. Don't just keep buying art supplies for the sake of buying art supplies. Even with my markers, like I really like my markers. Clearly, I think these colors are really pretty. This amount of bleed is honestly very manageable compared to many brands that I have tried. But I want my projects to be a reason for you to use your art supplies. So if you're buying new art supplies, cool. But like if you already have markers that you really like, use those. Like, let this be a reason you get to use your art supplies. There's that joke, right? That's like, oh, buying craft supplies and using them are two different things. Yeah. First of all, it's not wrong. They are two different things, but they don't have to be. I don't want to make you waste more. You know, we've all only got so much money here. You know those alcohol art markers, whether I'm talking like Copics, Ohuhu, whatever, those work bizarrely well on fabric. I've even had a friend, she watercolored one time, which was pretty cool. Didn't occur to me to use a watercolor paint like that. And no, you can't really stay in the line super duper, but when you're coloring some of my larger patterns that have like bigger areas to fill, it's kind of cool to like wash with watercolor. The other thing you can do is tie-dye. If you've never thought to tie-dye something like this, it's kind of fun because you can still color over, just like I'm shading on the turtle, you can still color over basically anything. Oh, carpal tunnel, how I loathe thee. Let me count the ways. I'm gonna see about adding some texture to this Christmas tree, just to give it a little bit more pizzazz because it's kind of flat as it is right now. Just kind of sketchy because it just gives the illusion of branches and leaves and a little bit of depth. And now we are time to do the whole puffy paint thing that I've been so excited about. since I started this. Now I'm gonna go get something to put this in so that it doesn't, you know, roll. Turns out egg carton was my answer. Just, it'll keep it from moving when it dries. I'm still gonna puffy paint it right here on the table, but that's a good place for it to dry so it doesn't wobble around, and that's what we want. Now, I know for a fact I want to do these Christmas ornaments red. So we're going to open these up. I've got my bottle open. We're going to try from the little squeeze cap. Oh, do I need to shake this first? This does say to shake well. Let dry flat for 4 hours. So we're going to be leaving these on the egg cartons for a hot second. How does this? Oh, okay. Wait a minute. We're just going to... I guess I don't need to do all of them. I feel like I want to. Okay, so see these little ornaments? I'm not letting them have a whole dollop of paint like I am the big ones. Oh, this is fun. Okay, I really like this. Okay, that's fun. Next up, the technique and doing the thing in the middle first was I can work my way out and still hopefully not touch it. We'll see how that goes. All right, I know I want to do the bubbles, and I want to do the bubbles in silver glitter. So let me put this aside in my egg carton and we will get that shaken. Okay, we got silver puffy paint. Let's see. It seems to be coming out just like the red. So I'm going to start up at the top again. I think I'm going to smear a little bit more for the bubbles though, because clearly this ornament is now a bagel. I do realize that the glitter is gonna have to this might have to be a 2-part endeavor here. I have to say, if you're going to do puffy paint this many colors, this might not be a quick finish kind of project. I'm also having to be really careful about where I put my fingers. Like really, really careful. Okay, so there's some down here. Yeah, like, last bubble. Okay, now the one thing I remember about using this stuff, it's been a very long time, is that it will dry a little bit flatter than it appears right now, which I'm curious. I like the texture because it's kind of fun. I've got that little star at the top. I'm going to try to add some gold to it. I'm going to try. I don't know that it's going to work, but I'm going to try, and we're going to see if it goes. I mean, it's probably going to go. We're going to see if we smear it and ruin the entire project. I'm very delicately picking this up so that I'm not touching any of the glitter glue that already has been glitter glued. We're going to go... Might not be perfect, but gosh darn it, it's going to be shiny. Okay, we did the thing. Great. We did the... Oh, I missed a bubble. Okay, wait a minute. Can I just go in without lifting it? Oh my gosh, please someone tell me I'm ridiculous. Guys, I did it. Okay, I honestly kind of want to put more glitter down. Oh my god, do you want to know what else I really want to do, guys? Do you want to know? Yeah, we want to know, Angela. Oh. You love me so much. You see the texture on the shell right there? What if I took some of the gold clear glitter? Because I think the color's gonna show through. I think. Okay, so hear me out. This should, like the silver, should have like a clear backing and just gold glitter. So what if I just went in? I mean, it could look cool. Okay, so fun fact, Marva Uchida used to make these really cool, they were fabric glitter pens, and they would layer like this without having to deal with like paint, and they were so much easier to use than this. I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of a pain. All right, I think that's what I wanted. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna transfer this to my egg carton. And we are gonna come back. Oh, maybe we're not. The bottle says let dry flat 4 hours. Fabric can be washed after 72 hours. We're not gonna wash the fabric. This is a Christmas ornament, but we are gonna leave that sit at least an hour or two, I would think. I'm not gonna do the backside on video today because honestly, my hand hurts. Sorry, carpal tunnel, but I'm really excited to see what that looks like. I've got it in the bathroom because otherwise my cats are going to sit on it, and that would be tragic. There would be fabric paint all over my house, which is really why I like using just the markers, but I decided I was going to be extra today. So I'll check in with you guys in a little bit, see what it looks like. It hasn't been the full 4 hours. It's been about 2, but it's dry. It's a little tacky, but like it's not coming off anymore. And honestly, I'm really happy with how it turned out. You get a little bit of the shine, like, because that was just glitter, it just kind of adds a little sparkle. Same with down here, you can still see the orange peeking through. Most of it is the fabric marker. Honestly, I kind of want to go through and paint some of the fish with the glitter, except for I don't want to wait for it to dry again. Supposedly, according to the bottle, this will be less tacky once it dries, but everything else is solid. I could even go in and add some detail to the water if I wanted. I'm pretty proud of it. It turned out good. I might do the other side at some point here once my hands have a little bit of time to rest out, because I think these turtles I would make a little bit more abstract. The goal when I designed them was I wanted them to look like little Christmas ornaments. So I wouldn't make them orange like this one. I think I would make them just bright, fun colors. I mean, the Christmas wreath is green. I think I would make them bright, fun colors to mimic Christmas ornaments. That was my goal. But then I do think adding the bubbles in with different colored glitter, I think that would be so much fun. It's kind of cool what you can do with a little bit of imagination and some art supplies. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If you really want to color your own ornament, which I hope you do, these are my customers' favorite thing every year when I release them. All of the new 2025 ornaments are currently up on the Scribbler Experiment shop on Etsy. And if you want to see all 6 of the new ornaments for this year, I actually have a preview video I'm going to link at the end of this video that'll show you all of them. And I talked a little bit about my inspiration behind why I designed what I designed this year. So I would love it if you check that out. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe if you want to see more coloring content or craft show content. I am a full-time coloring artist, so this is all I do, and I'd love to know what you want to see from me in the future. So if you have an idea for a cool video, drop it down in the comments, because, the best artists steal content ideas. Yeah, that's it. Just kidding, mostly. Anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!